This week, people are saying Travis Scott's numbers are fake, and are black podcasters missing the mark? Let's get into it.
It's already full-blown summer now. The bitches out, the numbers down. It feel like Thug already run a trial, but back in my town it barely started, and the tension is strong. It's like something tell them to kill soon as the weather get warm. The worst case for a veteran is feds get involved. Nigga, I carry that weight with me like a medicine ball. It ain't no clouds and it's 90 outside. That mean it's grimy outside, but fuck it, you can still find me outside.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson. Episode 55, man. Glad to be back. I just want to say before we get into the show, thank you to everyone who watched the last episode. The Big Sean episode was probably one of my fastest. One that got to 1,000 like the fastest. So thank you for everybody who subscribed, and thank you to everybody who viewed that episode. I'm still getting a little bit of feedback on my Big Sean take, but it is what it is.
Music in rotation.
All right, so it's 3 songs that I got in rotation right now. I just want to go over them really quick just to see if it might be something that you guys won't want to get into. DC the Don, Venus. Really enjoyed that song. I got hip to that song earlier this week, and I've been putting it in rotation for a while. It's my alt hip hop bag, like Paris, Texas, and groups like that. Like DC the Don's pretty dope, and I love that Venus song. It just puts me in a different kind of mood. It's a more alternative version than what normal hip hop is. I get tired of listening to coke rap or people always talking about, oh man, I've changed my life. I get tired of all that. Sometimes I just want to get in an alt bag talking about some different shit. The DC the Dawn song is fire. I did not know he put out an album this year called Sacred Heart. I need to listen to that. DC Dawn's pretty dope. So I just wanted to tell you guys, if you're into if you want to get some alt hip hop, go listen to the DC the Don single, Venus. Very dope. All right, so every now and again, I like to get into my R&B bag. I can't be listening to hip hop, coke rap all the time. I do have to get into some slow music. Kehlani just dropped a song featuring Lucky Daye called "When He's Not There." That song is leading into what is it? The new album, While We Wait Part 2. The song is dope. Kehlani be trying to take people's people's woman all the time, but the song is great. I listened to Crash earlier this year, and that album was garbage. So I haven't listened to While We Wait Part 2, but if everything is sounding more like what this song sounds like, I'm with it. Very, very. She's singing. She is very much singing on here, and so is Lucky Daye. I love the chemistry between those two artists. I think they're both getting into a great bag on this song. If you want to get into your R&B bag and put something new into your playlist, get Kehlani featuring Lucky Daye, While He's Not There. Song's phenomenal. So if you watched the last episode, then you know I talked about the Currency and DJ Fresh album called The Tonight Show, the sequel. There's a song there called Next One where it's Currency and Larry June. Man, that helps me get moving in the morning. Nothing like a great Larry June feature. I know people do not like the way Currency raps. I know people are just like, yo, he raps so slow and he always talk about this. I get it. But when you have the combination of Currency, DJ Fresh, and Larry June, you got to get motivated to get this money, man. So I made sure I put that on one of my playlists, to just one of my morning playlists to get me motivated to get out there and go get it. That is one of my favorite songs right now. If you haven't heard the Currency DJ Fresh album, I'm begging you to go listen to it. One of the better independent projects that's out right now. DJ Fresh did his thing on the production. All of the features are fire. Currency is actually doing what he does best, which is rap. I think that's all Currency ever does is rap, bro. I've been listening to Currency forever, and it just feels like all he knows how to do is rap, kind of like Wayne. But if you haven't listened to the new album called The Tonight Show, the sequel, go on and listen to it. I'm pretty sure you'll find a lot of songs that you'll be able to put on the playlist. But my personal favorite is Next One with Currency, Larry June, and DJ Fresh.
Music news.
Okay, so this week people are saying that Travis Scott coming in at number 2 was fake. It was fake and it's not real. If you haven't heard, Travis Scott he re-released his mixtape Before the Rodeo. Came out in 2014. Apparently the first week it sold 361,000 copies. Came right behind Sabrina Carpenter's, what's the name of the album? Short and Sweet. Go ahead, Sabrina Carpenter. She sold 362,000. The the theory is that these numbers are fake because of how he sold the album. Now, if you guys don't know, Billboard released Billboard delayed the release of the charts. They delayed it. I guess they were still counting up the numbers. But what people don't know is Travis Scott actually offered 8 different versions of Before the Rodeo. And I think a lot of people are saying that he didn't deserve number 2 because of him doing the different versions of the album. I personally feel like get it how you live, Playboy. We're in a time right now where people want to say what numbers really mean. I'll be honest with y'all because I've read so much about the music industry and I've looked at all of this stuff. The numbers don't mean shit. The numbers are tampered with. The numbers lie. No matter what people say to you, those numbers lie. And it's not because of the artist. I think a lot of people are pointing their finger at Travis Scott when a lot of it is usually the labels. A lot of it is usually the labels sitting up here manipulating numbers to make sure that they look good and they get paid what they need to get paid. Now, all Travis Scott really has to do is, because he does so well, is show the numbers to somebody else and say, hey, give me a brand deal. And what do? They give him a brand deal. But the fact that some of these people, a lot of your favorite talking heads, are sitting up here saying, "Well, Travis Scott is the one who's messing up the music industry, or he's killing things by doing it that way." The industry is going to manipulate whatever they need to do, especially labels, to be able to win and win big. Look at Drake. Prime example. I'm not saying Drake fakes his streams, but we know bots are a thing. We know that multiple copies of different albums are a thing. These deluxes that y'all like so much, they're a thing to juke the numbers. Juking numbers have been a part of the industry for a very long time. We're not gonna act like it's not. Is it fair to point your finger at Travis Scott for that? Hell no. Travis Scott is a artist. He makes the music, he does what he has to do, and he tries to make as much money as he can. It's plain and simple. He has brand deals out of the ass, and it just makes perfect sense for him to just say, well, I'm gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? But all of these talking heads who are talking about the numbers don't look good, or people are just like, those are fake. Talk to the labels. The fact that we're having this conversation about what Travis Scott's Before the Rodeo album, which I might add is probably one of the best works, one of the best albums he's done. The fact that we're having this conversation about whether it can sell 361 or not is fucking ridiculous. You want to know why? Because numbers don't mean an album is good. An album is good because of the content, because of the fucking mark that it leaves on hip hop or on rap or whatever. Y'all, why are we so insistent on going crazy over if an album sold 100,000 copies or 20,000 copies? I know people was talking shit about fucking Lotto. Her first week numbers, I think she did 28 the first week. Numbers don't make an album great. Let's just put that shit out of our mind right now. And if you think the numbers are real, you have another thing coming. The numbers are fake. That shit is terrible. These things are manipulated. Even Billboard has a little bit to do with that because they changed the rules on what counts as a sale and what doesn't count as a sale. And we're at a point now where we're looking at this stuff on social media. Again, some of your favorite hip hop talking heads continuously put out, hey, this sold this or this sold that. And then they go in and try to use that as fuel for their fire when they want to talk down the artists. I remember Academics and Little Baby, just to give an example, dogging people out because they didn't make these numbers. They didn't sell what they were supposed to sell. These numbers are fake. The labels do whatever they can to juke the numbers. Billboard is in on that. The streaming companies are in on all of this shit. I'm just letting you guys know because a lot of y'all may think, nah, man, no. They juke the numbers. The numbers are fake, man. Stop believing what y'all see and stop believing some of these talking heads who push that bullshit. As a consumer, you know what album is good and what's not good. And sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to sit with these projects. And instead of going in and calling it a classic on the first listen, take time out to listen to it. You guys have to stop equating big numbers equal great album. I've heard a lot of trash ass albums that sold over 100,000 first week. Very much trash. Vultures Volume 2 to be exact. That shit is garbage. We got to get out of this whole mode of thinking that numbers equate to a great album. One of my favorite albums this year is Childish Gambino's Bando Stow and the New World. I don't think it did great its first week, but I love that album and I think it's a great work, and I think more people should listen to it. But at the end of the day, let me get back to the point. At the end of the day, let's stop trying to point our finger at the artist when it comes to what they sold. If you've heard Before the Rodeo, you know how good that album is. And I'm pretty sure Travis Scott has a lot of new fans that actually listen to the album. Now, do I believe he sold 361 the first week? Hell no. Off of a 10-year-old project? No. Do I feel like he had a ton of people who did listen to it? I do. I just don't think it's 300. I don't think 361,000 copies of that album sold in the first week and it's 10 years old. It just doesn't make sense. Tell me what you think. Do you think big numbers equate to a great album, or am I just going crazy? Let me know in the comments. All right, y'all. So I wanted to just do something a little bit different today because it just felt like the music news was too gossipy and I didn't want to talk about that shit. But I did want to talk about black podcasting for a second. Like, have y'all seen these deals? I was on Twitter and I seen Boardroom post up this tweet and it showed the recent five major deals that happened in podcasting, which is Joe Rogan, $250 million deal with Spotify, Alex Cooper, $125 million deal with Sirius, Smartless with a $100 million deal with Sirius. The Kelsey brothers got $100 million with Amazon, and Dax Shepard got $80 million with Amazon. So my question is black podcasting not hitting the mark to be able to get one of those deals? And I'm not trying to make it a race thing. I'm just saying I don't see no black folks on that list. Now, I typically lean more towards podcasts like Joe Budden or Academics or Cocktails or Poor Minds or like those types of pods, Roy and Maul, like stuff like that. So my question is it a disconnect with what the content that they're putting out compared to what these pods are putting out? The only person I've ever listened to off that list was Joe Rogan, and I don't really listen to him on a consistent enough basis either. So I'm trying to figure out, are we not doing our job as black podcasters to be able to put out the content you guys like? Do people think that their content is better than ours? Like, what's the disconnect? I There's a lot of people who podcast that I look up to. I think Joe is, of course, Joe. Uh B Dot and Elliot Wilson, I think Rap Radar, those are two. That's a podcast that I love listening to. I think Drink Champs. I think anything music oriented, I go to automatically because I want great interviews. I want great music conversations. I want to be able to know what's going on. Have we not made strides hard enough to get somebody on that list? At least a $80 million deal? I mean, let's be honest. Black podcasting tend to move more towards the side of being salacious and clickbaity and actually doing a lot more stuff that not your typical norm. I think a lot of times black podcasts, and if I'm being completely honest, can be really messy instead of informative. I don't know if these if these podcasts that are made these top deals are messy, but I'm pretty sure they're doing something that we're not doing. As a content creator, man, I want to be able to give you guys good information. I want to be able to connect with y'all and do different things because that's how I enjoy podcasts. I want to be able to be more informative instead of being messy. I just feel like these days, man, like we deserve to get those types of deals as well. I'm trying to make it, man. I moved to the UK so I can actually be taken a lot more seriously and be able to have the type of interviews with people that matter. I hate clickbaity shit. At can be like that sometimes. Joe for sure can be like that sometimes. But when they're on their A game, they're on their A game. And I most definitely feel like they could be up there being able to get those types of deals. Because that gives me more of an opportunity to make that kind of money as well. Podcasting, doing shows like this, that's what I want my career to be. When I don't see people that look like me on those types of lists, or when I don't see people who I enjoy who do pods who actually make great content on that list, that doesn't give me a lot of hope at all. And I want to be able to make the $100 million deals. I want to be able to do what I want to do. So I don't know if the black podcasting as a whole has just completely dropped the ball. I don't know what we have to change, because if we're being honest, half the time a lot of y'all just get in the comments and start trolling, and the other half are very celebratory just because we look like each other. And another reason or another thing is black podcasters really don't talk to each other, or we don't try to communicate or connect to build something. That's my biggest thing, man. Networking and being able to build. And I know I'm just on the slower end of the ring because I just really started, but I don't have there's not a lot of like great communication between me and other black podcasters. There's not any kind of situation where we can link up or we try to make something go together. One thing I can say about those podcasters is they'll get on each other's shows, they'll actually try to help each other, and they'll try to move everything forward so they can make that kind of money. This side of shit, hell no. But I mean, here's the thing too. I just seen Gillian Wallow have a great interview with 50 Cent. And I really feel like they move the culture forward, even though they're not the best when it comes to probably communicating with each other. Could be wrong. I don't know them from a can of paint. But from my understanding, we just don't communicate enough or build enough to make sure that we're solid enough to be able to make those types of deals. It would be great for me to see somebody like Joe or somebody like Rap Radar or even Gillian Wallow get one of those types of deals so I can see them on that list. That gives me hope. That gives me a reason to keep going. But I just thought the list was very interesting. I also thought it was very interesting that I didn't see any black podcasters on that list. And I feel like, are we missing the mark? Are we not making the type of content that y'all want to see or y'all want to hear? Like, it irks me that we're not getting that kind of attention and we're not getting that kind of deal, because as soon as we do, maybe we can start breaking through to more and we actually start making better content. Or only thing I can do is when I make my first big deal, I'm going to reinvest right back into my business. So it is what it is, man. Who knows? I would love to hear your opinion. Do you think black podcasters are missing the mark when it comes to content? Do you think we need to do better with content? Do you think we need to figure out different ways to communicate with each other? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think about us in black podcasting and how can we get $100 million deal like all these other people. That's my time. I got nothing else for you guys. Short show, sweet to the point. Thank you guys for supporting me. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, what's wrong with you? Join society, be a part of something that's growing every single day. Make sure you guys subscribe to the BYK Media YouTube channel. And please, if you haven't gone to the Patreon, go now. I have a show called Hip Hop Survival Guide, which is one of my favorite things to do. It's extra content on top of any kind of evergreen content that I put out. It goes on to the it goes on the Patreon first. You can join for $1. $1. Who ain't got that? Thank you guys for everything, and I'll catch you next episode. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.